What's up guys, it's Willie, and today I'm going to be showing you a step-by-step guide on how to build the best and most efficient automatic bungalow farm to create heavenly weed and make you fat stacks. Now, this video is going to be two parts. First, I'm going to showcase the automatic farm, and in the second part of the video, I'm going to give you a step-by-step guide on how to build it and exactly how you need to assign your workers to make it fully operational. If you all get stuck or have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments and I will respond as fast as I can. Okay. Alrighty guys, so here's the farm. Now I wanted to start this off by saying two things, which is the biggest drawbacks, the biggest cons of this farm is one, it's very hard to walk around in it during the day. That is one thing I've noticed, right? You have so many workers moving in and out. We have 3 botanists. The other one's taking a little nap in the grow room. We have a chemist. We have a handler to make this fully automatic. Now, the other big drawback, because you don't have a cleaner, it can get a little messy. Don't mind him, he's just taking a little nap. Yeah, it can get a little messy. Now, this doesn't really impact anything. It just looks ugly. So if you want to clean it up, you're gonna have to clean it up yourself. As you can see, we have 16 plants in here. Going into 8 drying racks, and I did learn that this is the optimal ratio of pots to drying racks. I tested it out for about 2 hours yesterday, trying to figure out, what's the best number of pots to keep each drying rack fully stocked. As you can see, we have a lot of supply shelves here. We have supply shelves here for our 2 mixing stations, and I'll go into depth when we build it out. Why I did mouthwash instead of Viagra or horse semen or anything like that. We have other shelves here. We have our 2 main supply shelves for our botanists. And we have our brick press. Now, when I go through the build, I'll also show you guys an alternate version where you can use a packaging station, just in case you don't have the brick press unlocked. I know this is kind of a late game item, so I'll show you guys a different version where you can do it with a packaging station instead. Let's get into the build. Here's a list of all the supplies you're going to need. You'll need 24 large storage racks, 2 medium ones, 8 drying racks, 16 LED lights, 16 moisture pots, 16 suspension racks, a brick press or a packaging station if you don't have the brick press unlocked, 2 Mark II mixing stations, and 5 beds. And the total cost is going to be just shy of $12,000. So overall, it's a pretty cheap farm to get started, and it makes about $40,000 a day, so you'll get your profit back in no time. Alright, so we're going to grab the supplies we need to grow the plants first, and our beds. Beds for the little workers. We're going to place the beds down here, and you're going to put 4 in the grow room. And now you're going to place your suspension racks down. All 16 of them, just like this. Now, it's very important we use the moisture preserving pots and LED lights instead of the full spectrum lights and air pots. And the reason it's important is because if you use the latter, the plants are going to grow too fast for the botanists to keep up. And they'll only end up harvesting 6 out of the 8 plants. They're incredibly lazy, so if you use the full spectrum lights and the air pots, it's going to ruin the efficiency of the farm. It's actually better to have it grow slower in this instance. I tested it for about 2 or 3 hours the other day, and I found that moisture preserving pots and these beautiful purple lights were actually the best combination for efficiency. So there we are, done with that. Now we're going to place our storage down. This layout has a ton of room for storage. This is literally all storage right here, except for that one. Now we're going to place our 8 drying racks. Alright, now we go on to the next room where we place the rest of our storage. This is going to be storage for our mixing ingredients here. The other room was for our growing supplies. This is mostly for mixing ingredients, just to make sure you have a large surplus. You don't have to restock at the store too often. Alright, we'll let's place our 2 mixing stations down. And our brick press, and again I'll show you a different way to do it with just a packing station at the end if you do not have a brick press. And now we get into the workers. Now I wanted to pause and say something real quick here. This is the hardest part. If you do not follow exactly what I do, it will not work. So the first thing we're going to do is set this guy's bed down. We're going to work on the botanist first. Set it down, and then you set his supply rack. We're going to use these 2 as supply racks, and then we just give him 8 of the pots. It doesn't really matter which pots you give him, but I just split it up, you know, 1 on the left and 1 on the right. Let's go get the other botanist, assign his bed, and his supplies, and then let's get his pots going. So now all 16 pots will have been applied to people. Now we get the third botanist. Now this one isn't actually going to grow any plants. She's only going to be used on the drying racks. Again, it doesn't really matter what order you assign it. And you don't have to do supplies for this person. She doesn't need any supplies to work on the drying racks. Alright, let's get the chemist. The chemist is the easiest one. Really hard to mess him up. You just assign the bed and you assign the mixing stations, and that's it. That's it. That's all you do for the chemist. He's not a complicated guy. Now the handler is incredibly complicated. This is the one everyone messes up. So you're going to assign the bed. You're going to assign the brick station, and now pay attention to the routes. This is very important. So you're going to select where the weed will end up going after it dries, and you're going to send it to the mixing station, and you're going to do the same thing for the other mixing station. Alright, and now you're going to stock your ingredients that you're mixing, which will go in the shelf behind the mixing station. And then finally, when the mixing stations are done, they go to this shelf, so you're going to move from that shelf to the brick press, and just make sure you have that brick press assigned. Now we assign the destination for each of our mixing stations to this shelf, and make sure that they are set on the threshold of 10. Now we go to the drying racks, manage them, gold star quality, and the destination is going to be this shelf. This large storage rack right here. And now we get into, well, this part's a little difficult. You see how you have to select every single pot? 1, 2, 15, 16. Set your seed to OG Kush, that's what I use. And fertilizer, and the destination is going to be different. So you select 2 pots per drying rack. It doesn't really matter which 2 pots you send to each drying rack. You could use any of them. Just as long as it's 2 pots per drying rack. Now the reason we're using OG Kush instead of Granddaddy Purple or anything else is because OG Kush and mouthwash is the highest one mix profit on weed. OG Kush and mouthwash is more expensive than any one ingredient mix you can do with Granddaddy Purple. I don't know why. It sells for $64, and so when you put it in the product app, you can sell it for $100 in the product app. But if you do Granddaddy Perp and mouthwash, it only sells for $90. I don't know why. It's also way more expensive to do Granddaddy Perp, so we're sticking with OG Kush and mouthwash. And guys, it's really never ever worth mixing more than 1 ingredient. And I'll do a separate video on that in the coming week, but it's usually never worth mixing more than just 1, maybe 2 ingredients, just to get the addiction level up. Now we're done. We're going to restock it. I'm going to show you guys what it looks like. Alright guys, these are all the supplies you need to keep this farm stocked and running automatically. You're going to need 60 fertilizer, 40 extra long life soil, and 60 seeds. I also did forget to show it, but you're going to need 320 of whatever ingredient you want to mix in with your weed after it's grown, and you're going to put that on the shelves behind the mixing station. Now, I prefer using the extra long life soil because it means that your workers don't have to spend extra time repotting the soil after they harvest it. It just makes the farm run a tiny bit more efficiently and quicker. As long as you keep these shelves stocked, the whole farm will run automatically all on its own. Alright guys, now I'm going to show you the alternate way to build this in case you don't have the brick press unlocked yet. You can also do it with a packing station. So the first thing you're going to do is remove the Mixing Station Mark II. You can only use one of those if you're using a packing station instead. You're going to come out here to your handler, and we're going to assign the packing station. And then we're going to go and edit the routes from where the weed will go after it dries. We're going to move that to the mixing station, and then we need to change the mixing station destination over to the packing station, and the packing station destination over to where the finished product will go on this large rack. Now we're going to do another route. This route's for stocking the packing station with jars. You're going to put all your jars on that shelf right there. Now what you can do, because you don't have any other routes, those are the only two routes for her, is you can from here to here, and from here to here, and from here to here. And she will stock all four of these shelves with jars. Like, she'll do this one, and once it fills up, she'll go to this one, and once it fills up, she'll go to this one, and once it fills up, she'll go to this one. So you won't have to worry about running out of space for your jars. And that's all the changes you need to make to use a packaging station instead of a brick press in this automatic bungalow farm. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you get stuck anywhere, leave a comment and I'll be sure to help you out as much as I can. Also, I'll be making another video soon on how to automate a meth farm in the barn, so don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss it.